I feel like so this is after 30 minutes of cardio plus 30 minutes of chatting. But no, let me get into my little speech here. I feel like abs get neglected for two reasons. For one thing, people kind of get the idea that they're made purely by dieting and you don't have to train them directly because like, oh well, they're only going to be there if I'm super lean. No, your abs are a muscle just like any other. By developing them and building up size, you'll get that separation. I mean, even when I'm like peak bulk, I can still see a little bit of abs poking out. But yeah, so for one thing, there's just kind of a pre sort of almost like a preconditioning of the average lifter's mind to not want to do abs just because, I mean, people say they're made in the kitchen. No, total bullshit. Like any other muscle, I want to train it directly. And not only directly, but I want to train it with weight. If I want to get a big chest, I'm not just going to do 100 fucking push-ups in a row for my chest day. I want to actually, load up a bar with 3 plates or like do a machine press or pec deck, something with a lot of force behind it and actually contract the muscle that I'm targeting, you know? If calisthenics dudes were walking around at 300 pounds, maybe I'd be more inclined to do that kind of training. But obviously it's not the same muscle building stimulus, Like, I'm not going to say doing like a body weight crunches and ab twists and leg lifts workout won't work. Like, there's dudes with pretty solid abs who do that kind of stuff, but the pretty much for the majority of the time that I've been training, whenever I do abs, it's specifically a movement which just like every other that I fucking do has a weight stack, and I'm actually lifting fucking weight. I'm getting to. It is kind of tricky to hit abs to failure, just because some of the machines aren't insanely heavy. But I'm doing hard working sets, and I'm legitimately getting a pump. So as far as I can tell, why hit your abs in any different way than any other muscle? So I'm gonna sit here for I don't know, probably 3, 4 sets. Maybe I'll go downstairs and do some cable crunches too. If I do both, I'll just show one of each. It is pretty repetitive, but if you've seen an ab crunch machine and you haven't touched it, just sit there for a few sets. It's not even like I'm doing these sets with the intensity of like my squats or my bench, where I sit there, I play a crazy song, I'm like, and I jump in the machine. It doesn't. I don't know. I don't think abs require that much intensity. But if you want anything to fucking grow, you've got to at least stimulate it. I mean, it's just. I don't want to say ludicrous because abs are kind of a secondary muscle which gets activated all the time. I mean, I'll hear people say like, "Oh, well, just by squatting, I'm activating my abs," or just by like. I don't think you're just gonna get a crazy set of freaking abdominals without direct training. But let's just throw some weight around and see if we do another movement or just spam these. Now, in terms of the handle, usually I just do this. Just makes more sense for me. Oh. Oh. Okay. All right. I'm just going to sit here for a while, and then we can cut to the ab pump check. I think this might be a first. I don't think we've ever. Obviously, there's been back, chest, arms, legs. I don't think I've done an ab pump check. So let's fucking see how they look after a few more sets of these. All right, my primary pose down spot has been taken, but I think right here's just as good. Just as good. Better, unlikely. But let's see how we're looking after 5 sets of those machine crunches. So, I mean, you could do weighted cable, you know, you kind of, like, let's say cable is right here, grab the rope or a bar or whatever and just, you know, do it like that. Same thing, but I don't know, something about the machine just kind of drew my attention today. So let's see how we're looking. This is far too lean for a bulk. I can say that with certainty. Ooh, that's one thing having an ab pump. It's almost impossible to do a good vacuum because my abs are just so like tight from being all pumped up. So when it comes to like working anything over here or like, you know, serratus, stuff like that, I will see a lot of people bust out like side bends. Like let's say you pick up a 40-pound dumbbell here and you do like a side bend to like lift it up and you work this side of your abs. I'm not sure that's an awesome method just because, I mean, think about it. You're working these muscles. What happens to your muscles when you work them? They get bigger. You know, you're just going to thicken up your sides, right? I think just, you know, a straightforward crunch like this, that's good enough. You know, if you spam those, maybe not even spam, but let's say you add like 5 or 6 sets of those heavy crunches, maybe twice a week. I think after a month or two, you will legit notice a difference. But let's get back in the car. I got to get home and eat something. I'm fucking starving.